President Bola Tinubu will swear in Justice Kudirat Kekereekun as the acting Chief Justice of Nigeria today. Tinubu, who cut short his visit to France, arrived back in Nigeria Thursday evening to oversee the ceremony. A swearing-in is expected to have commenced at 11 a.m. in the council chamber of the Aso Rock Presidential Villa in Abuja. New Central TV will bring you update as the event unfolds. In a historic development, Justice Kudirat Motomori Olatokunbo Kekereekun is set to become Nigeria's second female Chief Justice. Born on May 7, 1958 in Lagos, Justice Kekereekun embarked on a distinguished legal career, beginning as a state counsel in Lagos before advancing to the High Court. Her judicial career saw a significant advancement in 2004 when she was elevated to the Court of Appeal, one of the highest appellate courts in Nigeria. Appointed as a Justice of the Supreme Court on June 8, 2013, Justice Kekereekun has been praised for impactful contributions to Nigeria's legal system, participating in key decisions that have shaped the nation's jurisprudence. She will be the second female justice to attain the position of Chief Justice of Nigeria. To discuss this, I'm joined by Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Adeyinka Olumide Fusika. Thank you for being here. All right, I'm hoping that you can hear me. I'm saying welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, I can hear you. Good afternoon, and thanks for inviting me.
All right, great. So let's go straight into this. Given the historical significance of Justice Kekereekun becoming Nigeria's second female Chief Justice, how might her position right now, how might it actually help, especially looking at the fact that she's taken over a very huge portfolio? First of all, what say you about that?
Well, I don't think that the sex of the occupants of the position really matters. Well, it may matter for advocates of, maybe feminist advocates, I don't know, but I mean, she's the Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. She's risen through the ladder of the judiciary right from the magistrate court. So she knows all the problems. She has experienced it. She's participated in it. She knows what the problems is at the magistrate court level, the high court level, the court of appeal level. And she's been on the Supreme Court bench for quite some time. So she also knows what areas, to address. So I think that her rise to that position is significant because she doesn't need to be told anything about the problem with the Nigerian judiciary. She's senator.
Okay. One of the key challenges that Justice Kekereekun is likely to face as she transitions into the role of Chief Justice, especially in light of the recent judicial reforms.
Beg your pardon, I didn't hear that.
I mean, what are the key challenges that she is likely to face, especially now that she's going into this position? What are the likely key challenges that you think she would face?
Well, the challenges are not new. I think that for quite some time now, we know that the system has not been, optimal in its performance. And that's not to say that the occupants of the people who preceded as Chief Justice of Nigeria didn't do their best. They've all tried their different ways to solve the problems that the country, problems of, delay, in the administration of justice. That's quite huge. You have a system in place where you have access to the, to the courts, but you really don't know when you are going to exit it. There are cases pending before the Supreme Court, for instance, that have been there for, 10, 15 years, and you don't know when the litigants will really have their, final day in court. So I think that is quite crucial. If the incoming Chief Justice of Nigeria can address that issue and help us solve it, so that ordinary citizens who are litigants and even, for foreigners coming to Nigeria to do business know that the system is such that can deliver justice as at when due, then that would have been a very good achievement for her. She can't solve all the problem, but I believe that that is a crucial thing that she needs to solve.
Okay. I mean, what expectations do legal professionals like yourself and the public expect from Justice Kekere regarding aspects of transparency and not forgetting to the aspects of accountability in Nigeria's judiciary?
Well, fortunately, Justice Kekere, right from the time, she was a magistrate in Lagos State, through the time she was High Court to Court of Appeal. You never hear anything negative about her. She's seen generally well reputed to be, a highly principled and incorruptible judge, and we expect that to continue. Now, if you, as the leader of the judiciary, if you are clean, then you have no fear. You'll be able to discipline, enforce the rules, not only against, not only as they are applicable to lawyers, but also to judicial officers. You will enforce the rules without fear or favor. You lead by example. People see what you do, and you already know, that certain things are, if they've been taking place in the past, will no longer be tolerated. I will not be tolerated and be, seriously frowned upon. Anybody who is not, who is a clog in the wheel of progress, be removed. I personally have, confidence. I'm positive. I believe that, we'll see some traction in those areas. Thank you.
All right. My final question to you would be on the retired CJN. I'm talking about Ariola. What do you make of his tenure, although short due to the fact that, of course, he had to retire, but what did you make of his tenure?
Well, Justice Ariola, he didn't quite have a long time to in that office, just about a year, if I'm not wrong. But I believe he's done all that is within his own competence and power to resolve the problem of the judiciary. And as you heard yesterday during this valedictory, we now have new rules applicable at the Supreme Court to replace the one that has been in operation for over 3 decades. And, the new rules are, he's tried to make sure that some of the problem areas, things that are affecting progress of cases in the Supreme Court, introduce innovative measures to ensure that at least address the issue of delay, and the things that litigants and lawyers resort to frustrate the proper administration of justice. So I think that his legacy will be that new Supreme Court rules. He didn't have the opportunity to have it enforced, but I believe that the incoming Chief Justice of Nigeria, who was his deputy and participated in the formulation of these rules, will ensure that they are properly enforced. I think that was will be Justice Ariola's parting gift and his legacy to be shared. Let's see how it goes.
All right. Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Adeyinka Olubide Fusika, thank you for joining us here at News Now. Let's also tell you that 6 men arrested during the 2020 NSAS protest have been freed after nearly 4 years in custody. The Lagos State Magistrate Court in Ogba, under the authority of Magistrate Bolanle Osunsomi, discharged the men on Thursday after they pleaded guilty to an amended charge brought by the Lagos State government. The defendants, Daniel Joibo, Adigun Sadiq, Kehinde Shola, Salahuddin Kamilu, Sadiq Useni, and Aziz Isiaka, were accused of engaging in conduct likely to breach the peace, a violation of Section 168, subsection D of the Criminal Law of Lagos State 2015. Before their release, Magistrate Osunsomi issued a stern warning urging the men to lead law-abiding lives moving forward and highlighting the serious consequences of their actions. Reactions have continued to trail the immediate suspension of Chrysanthus Dawam, who was the Commissioner for Budget and Economic Planning, and Jamila Tukur, who served as the Commissioner for Tourism, Culture and Hospitality in Plateau State. The suspension approved by Governor Caleb Mutfwang also affected Dio Lamol, who was Special Advisor on Rural Development, and Moses Sule, who served as Liaison Office for Mikan constituency. News Central's Chizoba Anyonwe tells us more.
This is the first shake-up in the administration of Governor Caleb Mutfwang since assuming office in May 2023. One of his promises to the people of Plateau State was to ensure that public office holders under his watch remain accountable and productive, otherwise be shown the way out. One may not be wrong to say that the governor's words have started playing out. The Commissioner for Information in the state was handy for more explanation to this unexpected development.
There's nothing wrong with what has happened. It is reshufflement in governance and in government. From time to time, you have to do that. And I'm happy that in this country, my governor is the first to suspend commissioners, is the first to reshuffle. We cannot wait until the day after forever before we do all of that. By this suspension and reshufflement, Plateau people should know that we have a governor that understands the governance. It means he has re-evaluated what is happening on the plateau. He has reassessed what is happening on the plateau. He has re-examined what is happening on the plateau.
Later same day, the governor further approved a minor reshuffle of his cabinet, which Gyang Berry, his Director of Press and Public Affairs, said was to enhance effective service delivery to citizens of the state. Under the new dispensation, Mr. Noel Nkop, the former Commissioner for Water Resources and Energy, will now serve as the Commissioner for Youth and Sports Development, while Bashir Dati, who previously held the position of Commissioner for Youth and Sports Development, has been reassigned as the Commissioner for Water Resources and Energy.
There is nothing new, there's nothing strange. In governance, these things happen. And I'm happy that Plateau people have understood that the governor is up and doing. The governor knows what is happening on the plateau. The governor has his ears to the ground and is...
The other aspect is that if the governor shifts you from one ministry to another, you have the right to say, I don't want, and you go home. If the governor suspends you, you equally have the right to say, okay, I'm done. I don't want to continue. So for me, I don't think there's any major issue of worry there. Is administration, government, and the governor doing what he or she needs to do from time to time.
Meanwhile, Mr. Stephen Gadong has been appointed as the acting head of civil service of the state, following the retirement of Mrs. Rauta Dakok, who reached the mandatory retirement age of 60 years on August 24, 2024. In Jos for News Central, Chizoba Anyonwe.
Welcome back. Nigeria's North Central region has been allocated 26% of the nation's legacy projects on road infrastructure. This was made known by Nigeria's Minister of Works, David Umahi, during a press conference where he revealed that the ministry will not be proposing any new project for the 2025 fiscal year. News Central's Emmanuel Bagudu reports.
It's the first year anniversary in office of Nigeria's Minister of Works, David Umahi. The minister took time to give account of his stewardship. While reeling out ongoing projects approved by the Federal Executive Council, he noted that the country's ongoing projects in 2024 are exhaustive and need to be finished before allocating any project for the 2025 fiscal year.
We don't want new projects. Put money in the ones that you have listed before so that we can have them completed. We don't want multiplicity of projects. Today we have over 4,000 projects in the Ministry of Works, and by law we have to procure them. So we want to ensure that not only procuring them, we have to work towards getting them completed.
The minister further explained that inflation has contributed significantly to the rising cost of most of these projects, and it will be in the nation's best interest to finish ongoing projects before embarking on others.
And you see the Lagos-Calabar is ending somewhere at Calabar, and it's taking off again with about 99 kilometers, passing through to Ebonyi State by Nibe Beach. And it is there with about 119 kilometers within the Ebonyi axis, going through 66 kilometers within Benue axis, goes through as a Bagana, a bridge with about 1.35 kilometers that will be constructed, and then ends in Abuja. Now, when you're in Abuja, you see at this point in Abuja, you see a route that is from Abuja is going to Maraba. Right now, we are constructing a route from Maraba to Kefi. But from Kefi to Makodi is already completed. Then, if you follow this route, Maraba, Kefi, then going to Makodi, you get to a point at Akwanga. And that is where the fourth legacy project is taking off, and taking off to Jos, to Bauchi, and then to Gombe. I inspected the Gombe project, Gombe-Bauchi route, on 15th of this month. And this is apt, and we believe God that this president will have the grace to actualize them.
The minister provided breakdown of the projects distributed across Nigeria's 6 political zones.
North Central has 26%, the Northeast has 10%, the Northwest has 16%, the Southeast has 5%, the South-South has 24%, the Southwest has 20%. And that is the distribution of the 4 legacy projects.
He says that the ministry is working around the clock to ensure the completion of projects already on ground. In Abuja for News Central, I am Emmanuel Bagudu.
Nigeria's worsening economy seems to be biting hard on small and medium enterprises, especially petty traders who form the backbone of the local economies. It is against this backdrop that the First Lady of Nigeria, Oluremi Tinubu, initiated her Renewed Hope Initiative, an economic empowerment program for petty traders across Nigeria. News Central correspondent Austin Azu, who monitored the flag-off exercise in Delta State, brings us details.
First Lady Oluremi Tinubu arrived Delta State through the Asaba International Airport to officially flag off the Renewed Hope Initiative, an economic empowerment program for recapitalization of businesses of women petty traders in the state. She paid a courtesy visit to the state governor, Sheriff Oborewori, at Government House, Asaba.
The program is a program that is very, very impactful, and we are touching women and touching people across, and not only in Delta State, for the 36 states of Nigeria.
1,000 selected women across the states converged on the Dome Event Center, Asaba, to receive the 50,000 Naira empowerment grant of the First Lady's Renewed Hope Initiative. In her remarks, the president's wife said the grant is to assist women petty traders in overcoming some of their business challenges, expand their businesses, create more jobs, and contribute more robustly to the economy.
I salute you all and celebrate your courage and resilience that keep you going to put food on the table for your families. Today, through the Renewed Hope Initiative Economic Empowerment Program, we are providing 1,000 pre-selected women petty traders per state with a grant of 50,000 Naira each to recapitalize and grow their businesses. A total of 1,850 million Naira will be disbursed to 37,000 women petty traders across the nation.
Earlier in her welcome address, the governor's wife, who supported the First Lady's program in the state with 50 million Naira, urged the beneficiaries to inject the grant into their businesses and contribute to the well-being of their families.
In line with this, my dear husband, Right Honorable Sheriff Ogorowori is supporting this empowerment team with the sum of 50 million naira.
Some of the beneficiaries revealed their intention about the received grants.
I sell branded crayfish and fish as well, and bonga fish as well. So thank you, because to help to boost my business.
And with this money, I know I can buy a bong that distribute to my customers and sell them and sell at the right price amount. And I know with this money, I can make up something good.
I'm into food items, so I'm going to use it and add up to my business, at least to get a shop, a small shop, so I can be able to let the business increase more than it is before.
As Nigeria's First Lady continued to work together with others to build a Nigeria where every woman has the opportunity to succeed, where every small businesses can grow and contribute to their prosperity, it's important to give them the necessary support to contribute to national development. In Asaba for News Central, Austin Azu.
The federal government has issued a warning to states as water levels in the River Niger continue to rise. The Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency, NIHSA, sounded the alarm on Friday, citing upstream activities in Niger State and Niger Republic, and Mali as key contributors to the rise in water. According to a statement from NIHSA Director General Umar Mohammed, floodwaters from these neighboring countries are expected to flow into Nigeria through Kebbi State. Dam operators at Kianji and Jeba on the River Niger have been alerted and are prepared to manage the situation. NIHSA has advised states and communities along the River Niger to remain vigilant as the floodwaters are expected to peak towards the end of August and into September. In a tragic incident in Nigeria's border town of Kirawa, 4 farmers were murdered by terrorists suspected to be members of Boko Haram. News Central's Umaru Kirawa reports that the victims were engaged in agricultural activities when the terrorists launched their assault, underscoring the ongoing security threats faced by rural communities in the area. The councillor of Kirawa, Jimini Ward, who is also the speaker of the Gwoza Local Government Council, Bulkar Umar Aji, confirmed the incident, calling the attention of armed forces to provide adequate security to the people to farm and earn their means of livelihood. Chairman of Kirawa Development Association, Yakubu Maba Ali, who spoke to our correspondent, said the attack on farmers will further compound the challenges faced by the communities and that rebuilding after years of insurgency. Well, to talk more on this, I'm being joined by resident of Kirawa, Gwoza, LGA, Borno State, Abdullahi Bello Kirawa joins me now. Thank you for being here, Mr. Kirawa. Can you quickly tell us how has the recent murder of 4 farmers in Kirawa impacted the community?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon to you. Welcome. So tell us, how has the murder, how has it affected the community now?
Yesterday, our farmers went to the farm to work in farm, and Boko Haram yesterday they are doing their activities in their farm yesterday. So the Boko Haram attacked them and killed 2. They killed 2. So we went to the bush and our military men, multinational joint task force, we went to the farm and picked the dead body. So after all, we came back, and later on, the 3 people they were missing. So we are waiting to hear the information about the 2 people. We are searching them. So the Boko Haram now call us with phone to tell us that there are still 2 dead bodies in the bush. We killed them. So we should come and find them. We should come and pick them again. We go back to our military, multinational joint task force, went back to the bush again to search the 2 dead bodies. So making 4, and 1 is alive with them. So they took him away and carried him So they told us they need the money, they should send a recharge card to them. So since then, we are not aware, we did not hear anything about the one person. So now the four person is dead already. We have took them, bring them to the town.
Quite a sorry sight there in Gwoza local government area in Borno State, but I'm sure we'll get more feedback from you. I want to say thank you so much, Mr. Abdullahi Bello Kirawa, for giving us insight into what really is happening. 4 persons dead, 1 missing. Hopefully we'll get more updates when we speak with you again. Well, away from that sad story, Minister of State for Defense Bello Matawalle has strongly condemned the murder of the head of Gatawa district in Sokoto State, Isa Bawa, calling it a heinous and senseless act. In a statement released on Friday by the Ministry of Defence's Director of Information and Public Relations, Henshaw Ogubike, Matawalle ordered the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, to track down those responsible for the district head's killing. Matawalle emphasized that security is a top priority for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who has been fully supporting the military in their efforts. He also assured the public that the armed forces would spare no effort in finding the perpetrators and bringing them to justice. Lagos State government has announced its inaugural sustainability summit. The aim is to float a new initiative that will advance its vision to create a resilient and sustainable approach towards the realization of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. News Central's correspondent Bettina Nweli gives us more in this report.
On Thursday, the Office of Sustainable Development Goals, OSDG, launched the Lagos Sustainability Summit, a yearly multidisciplinary forum designed to advance strategies and create actionable pathways to build a more equitable, inclusive, and prosperous Lagos. The summit, coming up in the second week of September, is being organized in collaboration with Lagos State Safety Commission, LSSC, and Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency, LASEPA.
The Lagos Sustainability Summit stands as a testament to our collective resolve. It's a landmark event born from our collaborative efforts of key agencies: the Lagos State Office of Sustainable Goals, the Lagos State Safety Commission, and the Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency.
Addressing journalists at the press conference, Special Advisor to Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu on Sustainable Development Goals, Dr. Oreoluwa Fini, said the summit would reiterate the state government's drive to strategically reposition Lagos towards advancing its vision of becoming a resilient and sustainable city.
The work we do here today is not just for us, but for generations yet to come. It is for the children who will inherit this city, who will look to us not just as leaders, but as guardians of their future. Let us be worthy of that trust.
According to Dr. Babatunde Ajayi, the General Manager of LASEPA, the initiative is not only intended to enhance sustainable business practices, but also to champion the protection of the environment for the well-being of the city's inhabitants.
So on our side as the Environmental Protection Agency, consistently we have ensured that industries and organizations, particularly commercial ventures, comply by environmental regulations, and they're also able to live or run their businesses by environmental standards. All of these standards are to make sure that our environment is well protected, and we don't leave a very bad Lagos for our children.
As the city moves forward with these plans, officials are calling on all Lagosians to get involved and support these transformative projects. In Lagos, for News Central, Bettina Nwili.
In Nigeria, the fight against drug trafficking continues to be a pressing issue as drug traffickers become increasingly creative in their methods, putting the country's security and public health at risk. News Central's Igbalani Omoni takes a closer look at the alarming rise of drug trafficking in Nigeria, the innovative methods traffickers are using to evade detection, and the devastating impact it's having on communities across the country.
In 2022 alone, the NDLEA seized over 2.5 million kilograms of illicit drugs including cocaine, heroin, and cannabis worth over $3.1 billion. Traffickers are becoming increasingly creative in their smuggling methods, using everything from swallowed pellet to concealed compartments in clothes, shoes, bags, vehicles, and even food. Some have even resorted to using children and pregnant women as mules. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has seized large quantities of illicit drugs and arrested high-profile traffickers to combat the issue.
A lab or discover where they produce this meth, and we all know meth is a very dangerous drug.
Assuming there are 10 or 15 meth labs all over the country, then you can be talking about over a ton per week being produced in Nigeria, and it's being shipped out of the country.
The NDLEA has, in the last 3 years, made over 52,000 arrests, including 50 drug barons. We have convicted 9,039 criminals and seized over 7,600 tons of illicit substances.
Despite these efforts, it's difficult to say whether Nigeria is winning the fight against drug trafficking and even use. The trade remains lucrative, with prices for illicit drugs like cocaine and heroin significantly higher in Nigeria than on the global market.
Drug trafficking and illicit drug production are causing significant damage to the people, the economy, and the environment.
I call upon all participating countries to explore innovative strategies, including the use of cutting-edge technology, to combat drug trafficking more effectively.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian Senate okayed the death penalty for growing, processing, and sale of hard drugs.
This is practiced everywhere in this country that are serious about dealing with drugs.
For some, the promise of easy money is too great to resist, leading them to leave legal jobs for the dangerous world of drug peddling. Others may be coerced or tricked into trafficking, often unaware of the risk.
The proceeds of illicit drug, is always cleaned up, and anywhere it is found. So the accused person or the trafficker will not be convicted without the asset being forfeited.
NDLEA proposes mandatory drug tests for university students to address rising abuse among youth. While arrests and seizures rise, it's unclear if these represent increased trafficking or improved enforcement. The fight is far from over. In Lagos 4 News Central, Igbalani Omani.
Niamey, the capital of Niger, is struggling to cope with severe flooding after heavy rains hit the Sahel region. The city's main routes are underwater, leaving 11,500 residents affected and many more stranded. The floods have claimed 217 lives across Niger in the past 3 months, with over 350,000 people affected. In Niamey, canoes have replaced buses and delivery vans on the roads as most transport companies have suspended operations. Efforts are underway to mitigate the crisis, with excavators raising dikes and volunteers sealing cracks with sandbags on the banks of the Niger River. The Terra-Niamey Highway, a vital truck route, has recently reopened. However, authorities fear an extended transport interruption could lead to shortages, especially fuel.
iri kwanda liboro no gande isa zam hari woni manti isa harino kan balawu dayno kan ka irko mirwada irko isa ir sambu yande hi koyan kangi zorandi goniyan kanga wani ngay goyo igoga temo alhamdulillah ir kanda boray dini igoga boray darandi igo konde igo kande ngay dingay ginay lahi alaw ir mondu problem ko ngware gomnanti ga am kandir se gaga sinay go tonton hi marju kulki gihinga kanda kangal silamai fabi mukanda amma gwamnati kandinga gagisina zama hi bambata hinka wone gendarmerie wonaya kan yamani go boray sambu go konda igo yega kandai bani irgo sabu soje hinose.
C'est énorme parce qu'une fois cette digue cède, effectivement toute la zone de la mort sera inondée et beaucoup de personnes risqueraient de se retrouver sans abri, seront obligées de libérer leur maison et les conséquences Dieu seul peut les mesurer. À l'échelle humaine, on peut juste estimer qu'il peut y avoir des risques de mort, d'inondation, d'effondrement de maisons. Mais vaut mieux prévenir que...
À 13h45, on est à 647. Alors que le truc maximum, c'est à 620. Donc, ce qui veut dire qu'on est déjà dépassé. Et heureusement que la digue a été rehaussée. Sinon, tout le monde sera dégagé. Mais alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alamin.
Let's head to Guinea now, where an opposition coalition has called for a peaceful protest against the ruling military junta on September 5, marking the third anniversary of the 2021 coup that brought the military to power. The Living Forces of Guinea, an alliance consisting of opposition parties, trade unions and civil society groups, is urging citizens to gather in the capital Conakry to protest junta's crackdown on dissent and to demand a return to civilian rule by the end of the year. Since seizing power in the West African nation, the junta led by Mamadi Doumbouya, a former member of France's Foreign Legion, has been accused of backtracking on its commitment to hand over power by the end of 2024, a pledge made under pressure from the regional bloc ECOWAS. Human Rights Watch has accused Burkina Faso's military junta of misusing an emergency army recruitment drive to punish judges and prosecutors who are investigating their supporters by forcibly conscripting them to fight against jihadist rebels. In a statement, the organization revealed that between August 9 and 12, Burkinabe security forces informed at least 7 magistrates by telephone that they had been conscripted for anti-jihadist operations in the northern Sanmatenga province, set to begin on August 14 and continue through November 13. On August 14, 6 of these magistrates reported to a military base in the capital, Ouagadougou, but have not been heard from since. Human Rights Watch has called on the authorities to immediately revoke these conscription orders, labeling them as bogus. South Africa's former president and current leader of the opposition MK Party, Jacob Zuma, announced that he is leaving the African National Congress, claiming that it is no longer the ANC he once knew. Zuma's decision follows his expulsion from the party last month after leading the MK Party into elections, a move that violated ANC rules. During a press conference in Johannesburg on Thursday, Zuma explained his departure, stating that the ANC has strayed from its original principles and directions.
Small unviable political parties, it's not sustainable for the future of black people in South Africa. It's not sustainable at all.
I'm leaving the ANC because it has gone out of the way. It's no longer the ANC we know. This is the Ramaphosa ANC. And we said it, and we'll continue saying it. They've deviated, they've moved out of the way.
U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris has officially accepted the Democratic presidential nomination at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago, pledging a new path forward for the nation. In a keynote address, Harris vowed to be a president who unites Americans and stands firm against dictators, drawing a sharp contrast with her Republican opponent, Donald Trump. The convention held in Chicago concluded with Harris's powerful speech, signaling the Democratic Party's vision for the future.
On behalf of everyone whose story could only be written in the greatest nation on earth, I accept your nomination to be President of the United States of America.
Joined by international correspondent Afua Hagen. Good to see you again. Well, let's start off with last night, talking about what's been happening, building up to the elections. Last night of the Democratic National Convention, perhaps the most important night of Vice President Kamala Harris's career so far. What were the main takeaways from her speech?
You're absolutely right in saying this probably is the most important night of Kamala Harris's career thus far. This, her keynote speech at the Democratic National Convention, of course, the business of accepting the nomination, but it was also about her setting out her stall of what kind of president she hopes to be. She talked a little bit about her background, her upbringing, her family, the reasons why she is where she is today. She talked about being a prosecutor. She also went on to talk about what type of president that she'll be reliable, that she's capable, and traversing away from the chaos and the darkness, as she's put it, that former President Donald Trump had when he was in power 4 years ago. She also talked about foreign policy, standing up to bullies such as the leader of China and Russia. She talks about immigration as well. This speech was all about Kamala Harris saying, I have arrived, I am here on this stage, this is why I am here, and for people to get to know her a bit. I think that's why it was important for her to talk about her family, her upbringing. She recalled a childhood experience where she helped a friend of hers who'd been sexually abused by her stepfather, invited that girl to stay at her house, and she said that's what made her want to become a prosecutor, to put away people like her friend's stepfather. So it was all about people getting to know Kamala Harris, but also what her policies would be and what type of president she would be.
Look at the reactions that, the opponents must have put up. I'm talking about Donald Trump. What do you think his reactions were or was like?
Well, former President Donald Trump was watching the speech and he was he was posting about it on his site, his own social media site, Truth Social that it's called, and he was basically, sort of reacting to things that she was saying in real time. So he posted, "Is she talking about me?" And then he said a lot of talk about childhood. We've got to get to the border, inflation, and crime. She spoke about Tim Walz, her running mate for vice president, calling him Coach Walz, and she said Walz was an assistant coach, not a coach. He also went on to say too many thank yous, too rapidly said, what's going on with her. And then he also controversially said she caused the attack of October 7th. And then he called into Fox News, where he was pretty angry when he was talking, so much so he was pressing the buttons on his phone in between everything he was saying. But he was basically saying, she's not having success, I'm having success. He also went on to say, I'm doing great with Hispanic voters, I'm doing great with black men, I'm doing great with women because women want safety. They don't have safety when they have someone allowing 20 million people into our country. So Donald Trump, very, very aware of what Kamala Harris was saying yesterday in her speech and reacting to it in real time on Truth Social.
All right. Anyway, I know a lot of persons are looking forward to things that would unfold ahead of the elections, and it seemed to be pretty much of a drama, a lot of drama playing here and there. But I want to say thank you so much, Afua, for keeping pace with what's going on, and we look forward to hear more updates when you join us again. All right. Well, earlier on, we had told you here on News Now that the acting Chief Justice of Nigeria was to actually be sworn in, but we can confirm a breaking news that has actually taken place. And that's the latest story. Appointment, most importantly, which was yet to be confirmed by the Senate as required by the 1999 Constitution, Justice Kudirat Kekereekun has nevertheless been sworn in as the 23rd Chief Justice of Nigeria by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the State House in Abuja. She will, however, operate in acting capacity until confirmation by the Red Chamber of the National Assembly. So that's breaking news. She has been sworn in until confirmation by the Red Chamber of the National Assembly. But then again, we did mention earlier on during our earlier news bulletin that this would hold the president had cut his trip short from France to ensure that he flew right in to carry out the process. So Justice Kudirat Kekereekun has now been sworn in as the acting Chief Justice of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And that's all the news that we have for you for this hour. But before we go, let's bring to you the major stories that we've discussed so far. Nigeria has a new acting Chief Justice, Justice Kekere Ekun. We also told you that the federal government has warned states of imminent flood threat as water levels in River Niger surges. A former South African President Jacob Zuma exits the ANC over what he termed the party's departure from its original principles. If you're watching News Central now, you can be part of our eyewitness report by simply sending your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number that you find there on the screen. And you can also follow us on all the social media platforms from X to Facebook, Instagram, and not forgetting to stream it live on YouTube. You can watch us live always on Star Times channel 274, DSTV channel 422, YouTube, Facebook, and of course stream live on Apple TV as well. I'm Joe Hanson, wishing you a wonderful afternoon. Stay with us, more programs here on News Central.